Hello, hello. Oh, it's Saturday, everyone. Oh my goodness. I uploaded my blog from yesterday. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go and get a refill. Some refill pickups. Okay, so you all know sometimes I lurk on Reddit, and I happened to lurk this morning, and I believe it was a gentleman asking the question, or it was a woman asking the question. Either way, the person said, I was in a 25-year romantic relationship and the person passed away. I believe that they said she passed away. I believe that this is a man. I'll double check. Let me just start over again. All right, I verified it. It's a man who was in a 25 plus year relationship. Let me just make sure. Lord, each time I look at this, it gets worse. This is a man, and he says, I was in a 25 plus, so that means it was more than 25 years, romantic relationship with a woman. The woman has since passed away. Will I be able to draw Social Security survivor benefits? +25 years. They were in a romantic relationship and never married. So I looked through some of the comments, and it looks like they, maybe 7 years ago, got a joint bank account, okay? So pretty much they're going to be, it's going to be a no. He's not going to be able to get it because this is less than 10 years. First of all, the next thing, they're not legally married. And then the next thing is based on common law marriage, state to state. I didn't even realize that this was a thing, that someone who's not legally married would ask for survivor benefits. +25 years. They might have been together for 30 years. So I looked researched, and I noticed that there were still a few states that were common law. Georgia isn't one of them. But here's the thing about that. If you live in a state that is common law, and somebody else lives in a state that isn't a common law state, and one applies and gets it because they're in a common law state, and the other one applies and doesn't get it because the state isn't common law, I don't really consider that fair. As far as I'm concerned, if I was making the decision, it would be a hard no. Maybe I'm in my feels because I get survivor benefits and I stayed married to that man, and I met the 10+ years criteria, and I never remarried. I mean, And when I was widowed, I'm just like, okay, my kids were on Social Security. And then at that point, once my last one was off Social Security, well, I mean, I was in my 50s, and I'm like, well, I wasn't going to marry when my kids were still young. And then once I got in my 50s, I remember hearing someone say, don't get remarried until you're after your 60s, because it could affect you getting a survivor, okay? So I've been strategic in terms of being married, and I played the game. And myself personally, I understand, maybe they love one another. Maybe there was a reason why they decided that it was more beneficial to not be married. I don't know what it is. Or maybe, you don't know, maybe one of them, maybe they were still married to other people and kept I don't know what it is. I think that there's a backstory, but maybe I'm a little old-fashioned. I don't know. But, ooh, there's a long line there. Maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but I just find it kind of gross for a man who, as far as I'm concerned, didn't have the decency to marry the woman for whatever reason, decide that now you want to collect. And honestly, I don't think that this man is going to get it because, first of all, that lady isn't here to tell the story because she's... Okay, so let me just switch gears, okay? Let me just switch gears. I don't think he's going to get it, but I'm just going to switch the conversation. All right, I'm gonna talk to ladies. Ladies, especially black women, come forward, okay? Really, all ladies. That's why I don't like common law marriage. Either you're gonna get married or you're not gonna get married. Okay? Either you're gonna get married or you're not gonna get married, okay? All right? And I'm speaking to women in my demographic. So figure it out. Either you're going to get married or you're not going to get married. And this woman probably was giving this man all kind of the marriage benefits. And men, just breathe if you're watching it, because I know a lot of you all have been done wrong too, okay? I'm not saying you haven't, because trust me, I got some stories that I've heard from men, one in particular who was married to this woman and thought the child was his, and then when they finally he decided he was going to remarry, and all of a sudden the woman wanted more child support, and then he went and got a paternity test, and he was in a relationship with this child, and that child wasn't even biologically his, okay? I've heard of this at least 2 times. Another one was a pastor and a minister. I wouldn't say that he was a pastor. And he married this woman. Somebody in church said that a prophetess said, God told me that you need to marry this woman. She probably was a relative. I don't know the backstory. I need to ask my mom and dad about that. I was young when this happened. So anywho, he married her. It was pretty much a predominantly black church. I'm going to paint the picture. So there was a child born, and another child born, and then another child born. The last one looked just like him. The other were questionable. And then she finally admitted that she was, unfaithful. And then at some point, it was found out that the two first children wasn't his. It was a mess. We were all at church. She's sitting on one side, he's sitting on another side. It was just like crazy making. And finally, they ended up divorced. He stayed in contact with his biological child, and then he remarried a white woman. Hey, family loves him. I'm trying to think if they had any children. Maybe they had one more child. I'm filling in stuff. I'm not really sure. Anyway, my mom mentored him, and he's like a really high-ranking supervisor in California. So, anywho, guys, you got your little story. So let's go back to the women. Ladies, come forward. Okay? Especially young ladies. Don't have children with anyone unless you see them as a potential, like if you want to be married to them, okay? Now, if you have them before you end up being married, that's not a reason to marry them, okay? But you really got to be careful who you have children with. You really do. And when you're not married, it makes it that much more complicated if you're unmarried and haven't gone through the legitimizing process, okay? So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, let's just say that you never marry the man and you all aren't in a common law state and you all have everything separate. You're just together but apart, and you're in house together. Maybe you had kids, maybe you didn't have kids. And it comes time for that man passes away. If you don't have anything in place, look it. When my spouse passed away, I had it locked in. I had the marriage certificate, the whatever other certificates, and went straight to that Social Security, the kids' birth certificates. I mean, this story with this man could easily be a woman in that situation, the man passing away. And what if the man's making the most income and you've been staying there and you're not able to prove that you are common law? If that was me and I was common law, I think what can help is a term life insurance policy, and just keep that term life insurance policy. So just in case something happens and you can't prove that you're common law, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just in my feelings. There's something about a man who opted not to marry a woman for whatever reason, and to decide that you want to draw on the benefits. It just, okay. So y'all leave some stuff in the comments. I'm open to opinions and everything. I don't know why that just grinds me the wrong way. Maybe it's my lived experience. I mean, I'm just asking myself, how would I feel if that was a woman in that situation? Part of me thinks that it wouldn't bother me, or not bother me as much. All right. The person is set California. So California is not a common law state, and they don't recognize people that are unmarried as meeting the criteria to draw Social Security survivor benefits. See? Okay, so I'm at home, everyone. Let me know what you think about the Reddit topic I was talking about. Do you think someone that's not like legally married should be able to draw survivor benefits? And just be honest. And by the way, I know that I'm still working on maybe being a little bit more flexible in my thinking. And I think that I've had my lived experience of being a widow. And I figured, I guess some of my thinking, look at, I sacrificed and I stayed in that marriage. Why should someone get survivor benefits when they didn't do the ultimate sacrifice? So that's my lived experience. So let me know what you all think about it. I'm willing to read it and listen and consider it, and give me a different perspective on how you see it. I'll talk to y'all next time.